Hi, katzcradul here. This is not a video about prepping a bug out bag or prepping long-term food storage or anything of that nature. So if that's what you're looking for, you might want to go ahead and turn this off now. This is more about a video about prepping your heart and keeping your heart open to the great need there is out in the world in so many arenas. In October of last year, I posted a video on making these handmade, the video is entitled Crocheted Cotton Bandages, and I talked about crocheting these bandages that I send off to, well, there's lots of organizations that accept them, but they're sent to leper colonies all over the world to bandage up wounds and sores and to cover stumps, of legs or arms that are left after the ravages of leprosy. I had a huge response to this video. Lots of people wanted to make these. I suggested actually using them as a prepper item where you could make these cotton bandages to have in your first aid kit because they're you're able to boil them in hot boiling bleach water and get them clean and hang them up and reuse them over and over, so they beat out gauze on that count because they're reusable. But then I suggested, possibly even making some to donate to a leprosy cause. And I got to thinking about this recently. Strangely enough, I was actually sitting here working on one. This is a ball of yarn like most of you won't see. I think this is like 2 pounds of yarn, and this will make almost 5 bandages. But I was working on one, and I got an email from a young girl, a teenage girl, who says, I've been really ill for a long time, and I have a lot of time where I'm just sitting, not doing anything. I'd love to do something to help someone else. And she asked about, do people still accept these bandages? Can you still mail them off and that kind of thing? And so I wrote her back and explained that you certainly could, and I referred her to this site, which is the D.O.V.E, D-O.V.E Fund Bandage Brigade, and this is a group of people who send bandages all over the world. And I know you can't see this picture very well, but they've got some pretty dramatic pictures on their websites, and they tell how these bandages are so much more useful than disposable bandages and gauze because people actually use them to wrap their stumps in. When their foot has rotted off, they're able to wrap these bandages and actually walk on them, and a traditional disposable bandage certainly would not work. And I'll go up and show you. Here's what their banner looks like. The D.O.V.E Fund Bandage Brigade, and D.O.V.E has a period after D, O, V, and E. And I'll post the link below, but there's wonderful pictures that'll show you what all kind of people are doing and where they send them and how. Look, here's a clothesline down here in this bottom corner. You probably can't see it very well. A clothesline with lots of bandages hanging and drying after they've been washed. This is an admirable group, and you can mail bandages to them and they will send them off. The great thing about the site, and there's lots of stories about people making bandages all over the country, all over the world in fact, and they will list here if you send them a package, just your first name and where you're from, they'll list where you sent them. Here's somebody who sent them a big old box of bandages. They talk about places where you can get the yarn inexpensively. Here's surprise packages from Heidelberg, Germany, lots of bandages here. Beautiful handmade bandages that represent hours and hours and hours of work by people from all parts of the world who are working in this effort. Here's a lady who was able to locate discount yarn. Look at all that shelves of yarn. But this has kind of been my cause for a long time. Here's one of the men that actually takes the bandages over to the countries that need them. This has been my cause for a long time because when I do it, it reminds me of my grandmother and how she got me started doing this when I was about 11 years old. And it's always been meaningful to me, and I think it's so important for us, especially as we sometimes hyper-focus on our need to prepare and what we need to do for our family and what we need to do for our own, that occasionally we get outside of ourselves and think about someone else. And I just think this is a good cause. And if you're, this is not an expensive thing to do. I think I bought this for $10, which means it'll end up costing me about $2 a bandage. And boy, if I can roll this up and put a nice safety pin on it and mail it off and know that it will absolutely change someone's life and will ease suffering, then that's a worthy cause for me. The good thing about it, of course, not this ball of yarn. I usually take a smaller one. I usually have several bandages going at one time. I always have one in my car for if I ever have to just sit, waiting on prep-a-ray, then I can be working on it. But the good thing about it is it's a real portable kind of handwork. You can just take it and to do one row just takes me less than a minute. So, there's lots of natural stopping points. Anyway, I don't want to go on and on about it. I'm just saying, if you're doing this and you've already made enough bandages for your own use, for your family, and it's something you would like to continue, that on this website it will tell you exactly where to mail them. They're not expensive to mail because they're very, very light. And I know they would be appreciated. The other thing is that, like I said, it's a very inexpensive kind of hobby to have, but it's worthwhile, and what a great way to spend a little bit of free time. If you need more information, I will list it below in the information box, and you certainly can write me if you have any questions, but almost on every page on this site it'll tell you exactly how to do it. It'll give you the dimensions and how to do it if you're going to either crochet it or knit it, either way, and all the information's on here. It's a great site to look around on, and the pictures are awesome, and it will warm your heart to do something for somebody else. Anyway, I appreciate you, all of you who have commented on this project, and all of you who have asked questions, and all of you who are doing it. I'm grateful to you, but more than that, you're blessing the life of someone else. So thanks a lot, guys. Cat's Cradle.